Hello, laser
Hello, Laser
brain.
Brain. I don't think we get any viewers for this thing, but I'll still connect just in case. How does that
Nice.
sound? I usually have to do it after it starts, otherwise it's like, what's going on?
Got to stay up there.
Will it? What are we talking about today? If people didn't see the title already.
The Rocketeer.
Woo! It's been a little bit since we watched it.
Well,
I think I got the gist of it though.
I think it's the second time I've seen it, so
Second time?
I
Huh.
saw it in theaters.
Look at you. Really?
I did.
I've never heard of this movie until it was hit on our list. Oh, well, shows what I know. Alright, I got the iPad up. We're ready to go.
So, The Rocketeer.
Mm-hmm.
Superhero movies before the big flood of superhero movies of the aughts.
Yep.
This was
He wasn't really a
91
superhero.
or 92. Oh, it's definitely a superhero movie, but
Oh, it's
it's
a superhero movie, but he wasn't super a superhero.
well, he's like an Iron Man.
I guess.
He's got technology and he flies.
I guess I don't watch Iron Man, so it didn't come to mind. I think I like Superman, Lantern, Aquaman.
The superheroes went a very big change
Mhm.
after the first Iron Man,
Mhm.
and so they all sort of became the same movie.
Mhm.
This was before that. This was more in the spirit of the original Superman with Christopher Reeve.
Hulk. I don't know. I just started naming super
Um,
guys.
yeah, the Hulk was sort of a in between phase because it was before Iron Man, but
Shazam.
the Shazam movie's way after.
Mhm. I remember the TV show though.
That was good, but
Yeah.
totally different than the Shazam we got.
Obviously.
And I have to say, a little better.
I think it's fun. It was a fun time.
I couldn't even get through the second Shazam movie.
You couldn't? That newish one?
Mm-hmm.
That
Fury of
newfangled
the
one?
Gods or something like that.
I did. I don't even remember watching it. I might have.
I don't know if you did, but I didn't last maybe 20 minutes.
I know. I'm not saying this as a attack against your fan, but shouldn't you turn the fan off?
Hmm. Computer, turn off Airboy.
Okay.
Good catch.
I love the fan. It's just.
We're here to say Rocketeer.
Yeah, I bet nobody heard us up until this point.
That's
So.
why I said it again.
Yeah. Rocketeer.
Rocketeer on Laserdisc.
Mm-hmm.
So
Tell me about it.
there's this guy.
He does some stuff.
He does some stuff.
Okay.
So basically, this one, it's a Disney movie, so it is a little cutesy poo.
I actually kind of appreciated it.
Yeah, it's a nice change from the ones we usually get.
We've been getting very high concept, a lot of information things. This is sort of kind of a brain nummy. It was a little bit long for my taste.
Computer generated, or this is all practical.
Sure yeah. You said the word.
I did?
Yeah, you said computer generated.
Oh.
It hears all your words.
CGI.
CGI, yeah.
Yeah, I'll say that, and then my friend over there won't hear me.
Yeah.
But basically, what it is you got a guy who is a test pilot, airplane pilot,
Mm-hmm.
and they somehow get a hold of this jetpack.
Yeah, how exactly? I think there was some chase scene happening where a guy had a briefcase that had the jetpack in it, and he hid it in his plane.
Mm-hmm.
And since he's a test pilot, obviously he found it eventually, and then they go start testing it out.
Mm-hmm.
They think it's dangerous, but I mean, they still end up using it.
So basically, the whole plot revolves around a stolen jetpack created by Howard Hughes.
Yep.
The Rocketeer gets a hold of it, tests it out a little bit, and becomes a quasi superhero.
Mm-hmm.
The bad guy.
He wants the jetpack.
Well, there's actually a couple bad guys. There's these mobsters that are chasing them for the jetpack, but the mobsters are actually an employment of an actor.
Yeah. The actor is the James Bond guy.
Yeah.
He's
Timothy Dalton.
He's like the king bee, or queen bee, excuse me.
He's sort of the top actor of that time period,
Mm-hmm.
so I guess he flexes a lot of power in Hollywood. It takes place in Hollywood.
So he basically had these connections to these gangsters.
Well, he's employing them.
Yeah,
They do what he says for money.
Exactly. They're not his goons, but he's sort of hiring them out to get that jetpack back.
So that you got that going on.
Mm-hmm.
You've got the sort of greatest American hero bit where he can't quite work the rocket, so there's some goofy stuff there
Well, yeah.
until he gets it down.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you've got sort of the Howard Hughes. You get to see a couple of jokes about the spruce goose, which you probably don't even know what that is.
Well, the rocket guy, also has a love story.
There is a love story.
There is
yes.
a love story. There's this girl, and he likes her.
But it's the same kind of love story. She's better than he is. He's kind of a douche,
Mm-hmm.
and he's got to prove himself.
Because what happened was he lied to her about doing a test run with the plane.
Oh, because he was dangerous. Oh,
Yeah.
He lied about crashing it.
He lied about crashing it. And then she got all mad about that. She is also an actor, but she gets some of the lesser roles.
Yeah, she's almost an extra.
Yeah, she's like an extra. And basically what happens is...
And that's quite a coinky dink, right?
Well, yeah, because then she's going to go meet that head actor guy.
Isn't that funny?
He's like the lead of the play, and she's the background. She wanted to be the main lady, but...
Well, they all do, yeah. But what's funny to me, and I just thought of that, is what are the chances the bad guy is stealing the jetpack, accidentally lands at this guy's little airstrip, who happens to be dating a girl that's in movies, who happens to be on a movie with Timothy Dalton?
Well, they are fighting on set, or behind the set, results her getting fired.
No, I'm talking about the coincidence that
I know.
all these people are connected is a little too convenient.
Well, then I'm saying he's telling her about the rocket, and then he overhears.
Right.
That's connected, It's plot, man.
Yeah, it's connected through that way, but I think the chances of that happening, whatever. You're supposed to just go with it.
Well, it's a Disney movie.
Yeah.
Come on. Enjoy
And
some
then,
plot.
so then, if that wasn't enough,
Mm-hmm.
it turns out Timothy Dalton is a Nazi.
Oh, yeah. I kind of forgot about that. They kind of throw that in near the end.
Right.
There's oh, by the way, he's a Nazi.
Right.
You're just oh.
So he wants the jetpack to bring back to Hitler.
Yeah. So I think the plan was Germany wanted to create soldiers that all
Super
had
soldiers.
jetpacks.
Yep.
Yeah. That was the big thing. But you didn't even talk... You always get a little bit ahead of yourself.
Okay, go ahead. Give it to me.
In order to get closer to that guy's jetpack, he starts making the moves on the girl.
Right. And she's angry with him because he lied, so she's sort of entertaining it.
She's going to go on a date with him.
Sort of.
It's like this fancy club kind of thing.
Right. That's more like the Brown Derby or something like that. They're trying to make it look like.
Exactly. And, of course, he doesn't find out about it till later. It all adds to the climax of the movie.
Right. And so they're at Griffith Observatory.
Yep.
That's where it's revealed he's a Nazi.
Yep.
And the mobsters, once they find out, they're super hot pissed.
Yeah,
because they're all American.
They like America. They even said, I'm an American.
So they're about to turn on this guy, and then out of nowhere comes an entire regiment of Nazi soldiers.
Yep.
Right out of the bushes.
Yep.
Uniforms.
They're
rifles.
ready. Well, because he's been having secret communication. There's a secret room in his house.
Right, he's got a CB.
Yeah, he can sit there and talk to the Germans.
Ham radio.
Doesn't that guy find out what was the guy doing at his place? I can't remember.
Yeah, that's a good question.
He was at his house at some point.
Probably looking into him at that point. He must have thought something was up. Wasn't the girl kidnapped and in there?
I think the girl was taken there. He drugged her and brought her there.
That's right.
And then when he woke up, he was like, "I just did it because I didn't know what to do." What was it?
I don't know what his bullshit line
he
was,
did some
but basically
BS.
it was he wanted to trade the jetpack for her.
Exactly. That's what it ended up being.
But so how did the Nazi soldiers get into Los Angeles and they're just hanging out in their uniform? Did anybody notice that?
They could have been hanging out. Maybe they got a base.
Very wild to have a base on U.S. soil full of
well,
Nazis, but whatever.
They're just all hiding in an abandoned Quiznos or something.
I can believe he was a Nazi spy and nobody knew it, but a whole regiment of soldiers?
Well,
That's a
he
tough
was
one.
ready to go.
And then, if that wasn't enough, he escapes on a blimp.
Yeah. Well, then it starts getting a little ridiculous, but I mean, those kinds of movies, they do that.
Or Zeppelin.
Yeah.
And the Rocketeer has to, of course, put on the jetpack
And get up to
and
the
fly up to the
planet.
balloon. And then you get the standard fighting.
Mm-hmm.
So it was sort of a switcheroo because Timothy Dalton is James Bond. He's the
Mm-hmm.
hero
And then he was
against a
this
super
really
villain.
bad guy.
And then they just flipped the whole thing to where he's the supervillain.
I think the one thing to make a guy more evil than he already is make him a Nazi.
Throw the Nazi on him, and that's it.
Immediately, everybody's on your side going to get him.
Right. Any goodwill he had was erased.
Exactly.
And then, of course, the Rocketeer saves the day.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know, what else could you say?
It was very long near that. The climax was too long. It needed to be, like, snappier.
Mm-hmm.
But everything else, I mean, I was fine with. Like, all the build-up and the little story. It was a Disney movie. And I don't know how many Disney movies you've seen like that.
I don't know, 40 or 50?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the vibe they put out. It's
Right.
a little silly. There's always a very convoluted plot.
It was a little more risque than some of the older ones, because I'm putting it sort of in this time period
Mm-hmm.
where you see Disney movies where everybody's just kind of aw shucks.
Yeah.
This had a little aw shucks to it, but then,
This had some
it was
edge.
a little edgy with the Nazis.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they were probably taking inspiration from other movies. I know a lot of movies made Nazis the enemy. Nazis.
I'm trying to think what they would have taken. I mean, they do a good job of making you think it's in that time period.
Yeah.
I don't know what I would compare this movie to. I can compare it to Iron Man, but Iron Man didn't happen for another 20 years, 15 years.
Problem is, I can't name the movie it reminds me of, but obviously it reminds me of a movie. That's why I'm making the comparison. There was some other movie that had the same vibe.
Well, it's a very standard story.
Yeah. It's there.
An ordinary guy gets some kind of superpower and overcomes the super evil guy.
And I'm just reading the back here. I just saw it's Raiders of the Lost Ark meets Top Gun.
Right. But
that's the quote from U.S. Magazine.
This Laserdisc was printed shortly after the movie came out.
Yep.
So what was the biggest thing up until that point? It was either going to be Star Wars
or Indiana Jones.
They would compare those two.
So Raiders of the Lost Ark. I mean, I guess that's kind of what it reminded me of, was Indiana Jones.
Well, the indie vibe, I think, is because of the leather jacket.
And also the Nazis. Wasn't there a movie that had Nazis?
Yeah,
that's
Indiana
probably what
Jones hates Nazis.
That's probably what it was reminding me of.
Yeah.
It gave me a little bit of a vibe. They took some inspiration.
So I didn't hate this movie.
I didn't hate it.
But I haven't seen it since I saw it in the theaters when it was out, and I probably will never watch this again.
I will probably never watch it again. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. It was there.
Right. It's a C. It's a perfect C.
Yeah, you're looking for like an hour or two to kill. Watch it.
I mean, there's a lot of better things you could do.
Well, I'm just talking about if you want kind of mindless. You're not supposed to think about it too hard. You're supposed to just watch and go.
Yeah, I will say Timothy Dalton does elevate the movie. His acting, for me, he was the best thing in the movie. And Terry O'Quinn does a very good Howard Hughes. He's barely in it, but I thought that was really good too. The lead, he's kind of, I wouldn't call him...
we had a viewer for 1 second and they dropped out after 2 seconds.
He's slightly above a piece of wood.
Yeah.
But there's no, I guess I didn't ever buy their relationship. They had zero chemistry. She had more chemistry with the Nazi guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it didn't work as a love story.
Yeah. Well, I don't think it was supposed to be a love story. I think that was supposed to just be like a little, not only was it plot, it was supposed to be like a reason for him to...
Yeah, this movie, you know what it reminds me of is Tucker. I think it was called Tucker, A Man and His Dream. It was about a guy who made a car. It was a real guy, made a car that was better than anything else anybody was making. He had a bunch of safety features in it. The car lasted a real long time. And it was the same sort of vibe. He's in a barn. He's putting together a shitty car to get it working. The powerful automakers destroy him.
Yep.
Put him on trial, try to put him in jail.
Yep.
It's the same sort of vibe, only this one's got a rocket pack.
Problem is, now that we've said Indiana Jones, that's all I can think of. So,
Well, I mean, Indy
sorry.
wishes it was Indiana Jones, and Top Gun is not the best movie in the world.
It could be story-wise, it was similar. By that I
No.
mean, no, by that I mean story structure.
Well, all these movies are all. I mean, there's only. Didn't I say there's only like 7 or 8 possible stories ever, and everything else is just a
You
reworking of
could,
them.
but some are going to remind you more of others. That's what it reminds me of. I didn't say it was as good as Indiana Jones. You can relax, sit back in your chair. I didn't say it was as good as Indiana Jones. I said the story structure reminds me of Indiana Jones.
But to be honest, you're saying that because it says Indiana Jones on the back of the paper, right?
No.
Well-
I didn't say anything about it being like Top Gun.
Whoa!
I didn't. Just because I'm looking at Top Gun here, I didn't get Top Gun at all from this.
Mhm.
If that helps.
I didn't either.
Yeah, that wasn't
I don't think there's anything Top Gun in here. I think they threw that in there
just for funsies.
to make some money.
Yeah.
But I remember there was huge hype for this film, and it fizzled because they clearly at the end leave it open for him to fly some more, and
Yeah.
it never happened.
Yeah, because it
I don't know how much it made, but
wasn't the best.
apparently it did make enough to go and do another one.
I'm not really into high flying.
Yeah.
It's never really been my movie vibe.
So, I mean, there's really not much to say here, right?
That's it, right? That was actually a girlfriend. I mean, the plot covered everything we covered.
Yeah.
That was all the significant stuff. There was, of course, like a bunch of little stuff, but I don't want to get into that.
Yeah. I was just thinking, I wish I would see Timothy Dalton in more stuff, but
Well, maybe you can after this. Maybe in our Laserdisc pile.
the last thing I saw him do was something called Penny Dreadful, which is a series, sort of a horror.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah.
I don't
It
remember
was on one of
seeing
those channels, Showtime or something.
it. Yeah.
And that's the last thing I've seen him in, but he's good. I like to see him.
Yeah,
And this
well,
was right after he was no longer James Bond, so he still had that vibe going.
okay. Yeah, he was a sophisticated villain, which are fun.
And he did some movie. They tried to do like a Beauty and the Beast with him.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he wasn't really a beast. He was just sort of a dictator. It was like a The King and I or something like that.
Okay.
Sort of a rip-off of the TV show The Nanny or vice versa.
I didn't watch The Nanny. I've been seeing people mentioning The Nanny a lot lately. I'm not sure why.
I don't either. It's
making
pretty
some-
vanilla.
It's making some kind of resurgence. Everyone's like, what's that niche show that you watch that nobody else seems to remember? And then they start talking about The
I
Nanny.
don't know that there's anybody that doesn't remember The Nanny.
I don't even know what The Nanny is. I gotta be for real.
It's another, talk about a retread of a story.
Mm-hmm.
This loud, obnoxious chick comes in to watch this rich guy's kids,
Mm-hmm.
and turns out she's got a heart of gold.
Sounds like Jessie. Hey, Jessie.
I don't know Jessie, but
That's a Disney show where the chick comes and she has to take care of these spoiled kids, and they end up softening up for her being the nanny, despite her being a doofus. It's
oh, she is a doofus too. Yeah, this chick isn't really a doofus. She's just loud and very she has like this thick accent. Have you heard Fran Drescher?
no.
She talks like this, sort of. Well, Mr. Sheffield. There was a lot of that.
Jessie's more of a klutz.
And she has this laugh that kind of sounds like a goat or a sheep or something.
I feel like I've heard that before, but that could be many people.
Yeah, well, there's a couple I could think of, but her.
Yeah.
I remember one time she was on a talk show. Somebody brought in a bunch of sheep
Mm-hmm.
to come and talk to her, and then she started making the noise too. I think she got the message.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. I think that was Conan that did that.
Conan's a funny guy.
So, final thoughts on the Rocketeer? Maybe I should show the back. Too.
C. I agree with your assessment. I might give it a little less than a C, but maybe like a C minus.
It was better than that.
I can see the value in it. It's just not for me. How about that? Can we go with that?
Yeah. Well, what's the problem here? It's way too this way. It's way too that way.
Well, it is balancing.
You know what
with
it
an
is? I think
armrest.
the camera is sideways.
I think you'll be
Is
fine.
what I'm thinking.
Well-
So see, now that looks straight, but it's cattywampus.
But you know what I'm saying? I said I didn't want to be in charge of the camera.
It's like a boat going like this.
Did you hear me?
Uh-huh.
And you refuse to let me resign from that position.
You don't like doing camera?
No, because you always get mad at me.
I'm not mad.
Because I'm looking at it and I'm like, yeah, it's fine. Problem is, I don't know what you want. Either you want it a particular way, and I can't make it
Well,
happen.
it's just, straight.
I can't seem to see that.
Yeah.
You know when you're putting up a picture and you always need my help?
Yeah, that thing still looks sideways.
It does.
Every time I look at
it
that,
does
it looks
not look
sideways.
sideways. You're
does.
crazy.
I'm gonna have to get a level out.
Oh, hello, Durrani. Beat after beat.
Hey, was he here yesterday?
He was not here yesterday. He was there on our 2-hour-long Duran.
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. Yeah.
Well, I'd love to hear his thoughts on the Rocketeer. If he saw it.
Yep.
Did he see it in theaters?
Did you ever see the Rocketeer beat after beat? Well, I guess we're gonna find out. He probably did. He probably wanted to say hi to us because we're great Duran hosts.
I mean, he might as well give us his thoughts on Notorious too.
Oh yeah, beat after beat. If you want to tell us about Notorious, that's the album we talked about yesterday, and we did a play-by-play of that. He says on TV a long time ago is when he saw it. Long time ago.
Yeah, I want to say this movie was around 91 or 92.
This wasn't even on my radar. I gotta be 100%.
Well, it's an older movie, very early 90s that didn't make any money and flopped. So
yeah, usually there's a lot of old Disney movies I've at least heard of.
Well, this wasn't. This ain't Snow White.
American Science Master Mixes is what Beat After Beat says. That's what
the Master Mixes. Yeah, I don't know where those are. I have them.
You have them.
I do.
Okay. I remember, was American Science your sleeper?
No, that was my best song off the album.
That was your best one. Okay.
And it's a very weird set of mixes. It was that time where they were really doing sampling. So they take a sample of Simon's voice, and a lot of it is yep, 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 using his voice and scooting it around. So I can see why maybe that 12-inch didn't make it, and they released his master mix.
Beat After Beat says Winter Marches on Sounds Like Christmas Time. Sounds like Christmas
Probably
time.
because of the bell, yeah.
And also because it's called winter time.
Right.
There's a certain winter Christmassy vibe.
I get more of a like tribal vibe off of that song.
Did we ever find out what that song was about?
No.
Okay, well, I didn't do any research afterwards.
Well, I mean, there's only one person that could tell us what it means. You could speculate, but
do you want to talk to Simon, or
if he's willing to
should we
sign
call
on?
him up?
He's probably in bed.
Why don't you just call him up?
It's got to be late in the UK.
Well, I mean,
he's even in the UK.
We could try. We give him a little call. Maybe he's in the mood to talk about his music.
From what I've seen, he's very reluctant to explain the songs.
Hey, Mrs. Carpenter's here too.
All right.
Do you remember that?
Ask her if she has seen The Rocketeer.
Oh, and she's saying hi, Beat After Beat. I can relate to Vertigo. I have it.
Vertigo.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
Do
yeah,
the Demolition.
Yeah, that's the one.
For more of a literal interpretation there.
Miss Carpenter, have you seen The Rocketeer at all? We were talking about Duran a little bit. We were talking a little bit about this movie. It's supposed to be a Rocketeer chat, but Beat After Beat showed up, so we had to catch him up on yesterday's video.
The Rocketeer chat, we were pretty much milked that thing for everything you could get out of it. So
well, it's very interesting to know.
Any hardcore Rocketeer fans can just switch off at this point if they're watching it.
Exactly.
Or on the playback. Because now we're back to Duran.
Beat After Beat is glad to catch you guys live today. Well, thank you, Beat After Beat. I'm glad we're here.
And you know what? I don't even know what the next movie is. Probably explained. I bought a bunch of Laserdiscs and a quasi.
Miss Carpenter has not seen The Rocketeer.
Oh, well, yeah. Does she have any interest?
Do you have any interest in the
Rocketeer?
I already forgot the movie. Rocketeer.
The Rocketeer.
The Rocketeer.
Anyway, so what I was saying was I bought a lot of Laserdiscs from a quasi estate sale. Over 200 of them.
Yep.
We listed them all. They each have a number. Then we spin the wheel, and a random number comes up, and that's the movie we watch. And this time it landed on Rocketeer. The wheel has not been spun since, so we don't know what the next movie is going to be.
Exactly. We talked about U.S. Marshals. We talked about...
That was a low point, I think.
Yeah. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
People are excited about that one.
Well, yeah, people like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yeah.
I'm happy I finally got to see it, even though it was dense. You know?
Mm.
Dense with information.
Yeah, that's one you probably should have watched over a week or something. When people originally watched it, I think it was cut up.
Over a week, yeah.
I think it was a miniseries. I don't think it was all one big bulldog ball.
Well, yeah, that one was pretty rough. And I have any movie that's over like an hour and 40 minutes, I notice that's when I start to lose interest and everything. Miss Carpenter, the movie, saw it a long time ago. I think we're referring to Hitchhiker?
Must be Rocketeer.
Rocketeer? Oh, okay.
Or did she say no, she's never seen Rocketeer?
She says she hasn't seen Rocketeer.
Oh, well, maybe she's talking about
Hitchhikers? Or U.S. Marshals?
Yeah, U.S. Marshals.
I started listing a bunch of movies, so I mean...
probably Hitchhiker's Guide, I would
probably
guess.
Hitchhiker's
I don't
Guide.
know how many people know of U.S. Marshals.
Yeah, that was a stinker, too.
I don't know if it was a stinker. It was a nice sequel to The Fugitive. You're never going to be as good as The Fugitive is the problem.
I did a cat treat live stream challenge yesterday with ice cream. What is a cat treat live?
Cat tree or treat?
It says treat, but...
Treat?
Yeah.
Maybe the cat was eating ice cream?
Oh. Oh, maybe like it's like a haul or something and the cat eats it? Tell us, Beat After Beat. We're speculating here and you're right here.
I've never seen a cat eat ice cream.
Well, maybe there's special cat ice cream. There's special dog ice cream. I've thought about getting it for Pop a few times. He deserves it. He loves ice cream. He would just eat the ice cream box. Call it a day.
Yeah, everything around it.
Dude, yesterday I had to yank a toy from him. He was about to swallow it again. That's his new thing.
Good character.
Frisky's Summer Challenge. So Friskies must have some kind of...
Friskies is still around?
Friskies is still around.
I didn't know that.
When was the last time you've been in the store?
Oh, I'm never in the cat food section. I'm allergic to cats.
I'm allergic to cats, but I shop for other people, so I pick up Friskies. You know how it is? They have a summer challenge.
Friskies was a big deal in the 70s.
No, I'm interested.
Surprised they're still around.
I'm going to look it up real quick. You keep talking like you're cool.
Boy, I've said everything I can say about the Rocketeer. That's the problem.
Don't talk about the Rocketeer then. Friskies Summer Challenge.
We can talk about speculation of a new Duran Duran album for 2025. I could not find zero information about that.
I found Beat After Beat's channel immediately, looking up Friskies Summer Challenge.
Okay.
Problem is, I still don't know what it is. Ice cream with chocolate syrup topped with Friskies cat treats. I ate. Ooh. Is Friskies any good?
Oh, she had to eat the Friskies?
Yeah, that's what I just found out. But I found the video 2 seconds into looking it up.
What's in Friskies?
Cat food.
Yeah, but I mean, I wouldn't even know. I mean, I guess it's edible. It's not going to kill the cat, right?
Yeah. What is in Friskies?
I would be suspicious of the taste.
Oh, it would probably be interesting. Oh, he ate. He did not eat it. The cat.
Kitty.
The kitty. Okay.
That
All
makes
right.
more sense.
Did it? I'm lost, guys. I woke up from a nap. It says there's meat, fish, gravy, other ingredients. Probably made of cat. No. Corn, wheat, gluten, soy flour, cornstarch. So, food. It's just may not be the best for us.
No, we'll have to check out that channel. Remember what it is.
Beat After Beat. That's the name of the
That's the name of the channel?
Yeah.
Too? Okay.
Yeah.
We'll be on there and see what's up.
We gotta see what's up. Very interesting. Ugh. Oh.
Well, if there's no more.
Yeah, I mean, this was supposed to be a little cute check-in, but we got our buddies here, too. I'm conflicted.
Well, I mean, I literally have nothing else to say about the Rocketeer.
Tell us how much you love the Rocketeer.
C.
No, but tell them how you'd kiss the Rocketeer if you had the chance.
No, I would not.
Okay.
I'm not even 100% sure Billy Campbell is still around.
Oh, Miss Carpenter says he ate the whole thing. Whew.
Really?
Yeah. Man.
I wonder what the aftermath was.
Oh, so he was eating it.
Oh.
Yeah. Sorry, I keep getting mixed
Well,
signals
maybe
here.
both of them ate it.
I'm a music channel, but I get silly and eat my cat's food on live stream.
I like music.
Yeah. And then Miss Carpenter says he ate the whole thing. I can't believe I ate the whole thing. Man.
I have been doing a little bit of thinking about what do we do when we run out of Duran Duran material.
I think we'll be fine. There's a lot of Duran Duran material.
Well, we're already through Notorious, so.
Yeah. I have 3,000 Duran Duran videos in my created playlist. Yeah.
Wow. The band videos or
Videos of you talking about
talking about
Yeah.
videos, dissecting?
Well, Beat After Beat, it was another one of our diehard fans. Similar to Ron.
Yeah,
Ron's been here every stream?
Ron is so plugged in, it's scary.
Yeah, exactly.
I think he was the one who said there's a new album for 2025, right?
Yep.
So I scoured the internet for any crumb of information and couldn't find any.
What?
But
this is his track record.
Several weeks ago, he said there was going to be 7 new songs, and I couldn't find a crumb on the internet about it. And then all of a sudden,
it was like, hey,
here's 7 new songs.
Open
Open your wallet.
Beat After Beat says everything you can imagine. So, videos of him talking about it, band videos, all that good stuff.
Well, definitely got to check that out, though.
I know, Beat After Beat. Oh, Tom Baker's here. Do you remember Tom?
Yeah, he was here yesterday.
You could review movie soundtracks, is what Tom says. What were you thinking?
That's not a bad idea.
You said you had a plan.
I was thinking of another band, and I was trying to think, well, who would have the same catalog and interest? The best I could come up with was Pet Shop Boys.
Oh, Beat After Beat said there was going to be 7 new songs. Yeah, and then Ron was the one who said deluxe album in October. He gave us a date, I believe.
October or November or something.
Yeah, something like that. Moroder soundtracks.
Moroder?
Moroder soundtracks.
Giorgio Moroder soundtracks? Are you talking about Flashdance and Neverending Story? We
talked about Neverending Story. Yeah. Carpenter is my friend. She lives in Horseshoe, Arkansas.
Yay! Woo! We still don't know where that is.
Oh yeah, I can look it up real quick.
So Giorgio Moroder, yeah. That's the only I know he did Flashdance. And I know he did
Oh, it's 45 minutes away from us.
Not far at all.
Not far at all. In the direction of Cersei. Yeah, we talked about.
Anytime you hear Giorgio Moroder, you know it's him. He's got a very distinct style.
Oh, they're saying hi to Tom. Tom's here now. Yes, Cat People, American Gigolo, Midnight Express.
Oh, he did American Gigolo.
Oh.
That was Blondie's on that one. Call Me.
Oh, I like Call Me.
Midnight Express. I don't think I've seen Midnight Express. I've certainly heard of it.
I've heard of it. Usually you know that stuff. And
right, I don't think I have a copy of that.
Yeah. Sorry, what were you saying beforehand? You said what your idea was before the movie soundtrack. I got very distracted.
Come up with is what other band has a longevity like Duran Duran? I was thinking Pet Shop Boys.
Yeah, that's true.
They've got a lot of albums. You're a big Pet
Shop Boys guy.
Depeche Mode.
I think Pet Shop Boys would be even more blind for me.
Well, really? Well, but that's the whole point of this is not blind or unblind. It's discovering and giving a critique. Same way you approach Rocketeer. You've never seen it. Yeah, I'll watch it.
Yeah, but I didn't like it, so.
Yesterday, we completely listened to Big Thing.
Mm-hmm. OMD. Beat After Beat says, we love OMD. I love OMD. Simple Minds.
OMD has a weird period where one of the main guys dropped off for a while. Mm-hmm. And OMD is very different after that. Sort of the 90s OMD, very different. Until they got back together, I don't know, 2010, 2012.
Red Frame, White Line?
That's very old.
He also says Simple Minds.
Simple Minds is a good one, but the problem with Simple Minds is...
What? Tell me.
I don't know. After... I think the last thing I heard from them was Live in the City of Lights. Mm-hmm. Or there was one more, I want to say, around 88 or 89. There was actually a pretty good album. I can't remember what it was, but...
Oh, Tom Baker says something scandalous. Depeche Mode recently destroyed Duran Duran in an interview, said they never liked them.
They did have a rivalry because all throughout Depeche Mode was the underdog in the 80s.
Yeah.
They were the secret band you listened to.
Mm-hmm.
They were not pop music. They were sort of poppy in their first few albums, kind of almost saccharine,
Mm-hmm.
but then they took a dark turn. I would say for Some Great Reward, that album, they sort of took a dark turn at that point, and then it just got darker and darker. And they were always an underdog, and every fan survey and magazines and everything, they would always lose to Duran Duran.
Yeah, so
And
they're
I remember
a
reading
little
stuff,
bit,
they were always irritated. They were like, how do they keep winning?
like they're just a little bit sour.
But as Duran Duran declined at the end of the 80s,
Mm-hmm.
Depeche Mode was on the way up.
Mm-hmm.
So they had an album called Music for the Masses, which has Never Let Me Down Again.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where they started entering the stratosphere. And they had an album called Violator.
Mm-hmm.
It was in 1990, and that was their apex.
Well, Tom Baker says they were really mean in that interview.
Well,
They were sour.
they're kind of crabby guys.
Yeah, they're sour.
You have sort of a charming frontman in Simon Le Bon.
Yeah.
Dave Gahan in Depeche Mode is not that charming.
Yeah.
He's kind of got a rough edge to him.
Who's the one? What's the band that did Music That You Can Dance To?
That's Sparks.
That's Sparks. Okay.
They're always nice.
All right. Sorry, I was just thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
They said there's an ego problem with them. Yeah.
Oh, with Depeche Mode? Well, I mean, they're always, again, they have the second class mentality.
Yeah. Well, also their ego got kind of destroyed every time they saw Duran Duran.
Well, I mean, it flipped, right?
Yeah.
They at the end, they got to the top of the mountain,
Mm-hmm.
and they actually got in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame before Duran Duran did.
Wow. Wow. Give me a Depeche Mode song, because obviously I know Depeche Mode, but give me a song.
Well, I'll tell you how I got
Uh-oh.
involved with Depeche Mode.
That's not what I asked for, but okay.
Well, I'll just tell you. It's sort of an interesting story. I was listening to a song on the radio. Back then, there was no Shazam or anything like that would tell you.
Mm-hmm.
Listening to the radio, and I heard a song, and it turns out the song was called Go by Tones on Tail.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that, and somebody told me it was Everything Counts from Depeche Mode.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to that fancy record store,
Mm-hmm.
Best Records, went in there, picked up Everything Counts, because I thought that's what the song was,
Yeah.
and then played it, and I'm like, this isn't the song.
Okay.
But
Bummer. I like it.
this is really good.
Yeah. Well.
So then I went back, and at that time they had an album called Catching Up with Depeche Mode, and it was all of their singles up until It's Called a Heart.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was a Depeche Mode fan.
Oh, look at you.
And a pretty big Depeche Mode fan. I mean, they're certainly in the top 5 or 10.
Yeah.
But for me, after Exciter,
Mm-hmm.
well, the music is not my favorite after that record. That was 2001 or 2.
Bummer.
They went in a different direction, and I don't know, I find it kind of boring. Other than every now and then they'll throw out a good song like what was that one? Love is all I need. How's that song go?
Love is all you want.
Oh, yeah, something like that. I can't remember that. I can't remember the chorus of that. Your lies are more attractive than the truth.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I just can't think of it, but I do remember that. Love is all I want.
I know that song.
Ba-bum, bum, bum.
Erasure Yazoo was the former Depeche Mode keyboard player.
So he's talking about Vince Clarke.
Okay.
So the first iteration of Depeche Mode, the very first album, had the musical genius Vince Clarke. There's probably no one out there that's gotten more out of a synthesizer than Vince Clarke.
Mm-hmm.
So he's way up here as far as the synthesizer goes, the strung structure. He's chiefly responsible for Just Can't Get Enough. I just can't get enough. He left after the first album.
Mm-hmm. Great.
And, well, the lucky thing about Depeche Mode is they had someone named Martin Gore.
Mm-hmm.
And he is a world-class songwriter.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen anybody that can just crank songs out. And he's the chief songwriter of that band. He makes demos and then hands in the song, and then they all work on it.
Okay.
So without him, with Vince Clarke leaving and if Martin Gore had left, there would be no Depeche Mode.
Well,
They would be a footnote. So that band was stacked with talent, and that's why they're still around.
Beat After Beat says, I like Home in Peace from Depeche Mode.
Home, yeah, that's a Martin Gore one. So thank you for showing me home.
Beautiful.
Well, listen, I'm no Martin Gore. That's that song. And what was the other one? Home and what?
Home in Peace.
Peace. I'm not sure I'm familiar with Peace.
Ugh.
Again, I trailed off after Exciter. So
Yeah.
But yeah, so he went over to Yazoo. You know Yazoo. Move out. Don't mess around. Move out. Well, bring me down. Move out. Boop, boop, boop.
That's your favorite song, right?
Boop, boop, boop. I think I've heard it too many times.
Yeah, maybe.
But Yazoo has some good songs.
Martin Gore in his 1980s, his crazy leather outfit.
So they did get into sort of a
Punk.
Not punk. It was more like leather enthusiast.
Okay.
They were spending a lot of time in Germany, and that outfit you have to see to believe.
Okay.
It was sort of wasn't
Let
really.
me see what I can do.
It wasn't really a shirt. It was like a piece of leather, and then there was two pieces of leather right here, and then not much more of the shirt. You know, a little leather hat.
Let me see.
One of the funniest things I've seen.
Is it
Martin Gore, 1982, 83, Some Great Reward.
that one?
That's near it. That's not the one I'm
Close.
thinking of, but that's pretty close.
Okay. Man, that's wild.
It's wild. But anyway, there is a video of them promoting their single. It's called A Heart, and they go on this French show, which is a comedy show. And as they're playing, the comedy people are goofing on them.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the guys get the joke and are playing along, but Dave gone, nothing funny about that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That video is so funny.
No, well, sounds like you hit another band you'd like to talk about.
I could. I'm way more familiar with the Pet Shop Boys.
Pet Shop Boys.
Just because they crank out an album every couple of years.
Who's crying in your latte? Wasn't that them?
That's Sparks.
That's Sparks. I must be a Sparks
You're
fan.
a Sparks fan. You didn't know it.
Every time I start hearing stuff, I'm like, oh yeah, I like that song.
There's another band that has longevity. They've been around since the 70s.
The girl's crying in her latte.
That's their newest one, as far as I know.
That's good. I like that. I do really like that.
But Pet Shop Boys, I don't know how many albums they have.
Mm-hmm.
All see at the bottom row, all those white ones.
Yeah.
Those are all Pet Shop Boys.
That's a lot, man. Somebody likes Pet Shop Boys.
Yeah, I think they're good most of the time. Not the biggest fan of this latest one, nevertheless.
Have I even heard it?
We never even got through the full album.
Okay.
We got interrupted and then never went back.
Well, bring me margaritas, champagne, and red wine.
That was a very good album.
We're gonna have a party where we all cross the line. I love that song. I still jam out to that song.
That is a good album.
Yeah.
Lost in the shuffle of the pandemic.
I think I liked most of the songs on that album.
I would say every one was good on that one.
Well, obviously I can't recall every single one of them, but...
That's the I don't want to go out. I don't want to go dancing. There's that one, and there's Dreamland. I love you.
Dreaming of a someday.
And of course, it's got the one you were just singing.
Yeah, Monkey Business.
Monkey Business. That's real fun.
Uh-huh.
And it's got Burning the Heather.
Pet Shop Boys is a very proper band, Beat After Beat says.
Proper?
I don't know.
They're talking about their vocabulary and diction.
Maybe. They are fancy.
They are fancy. Neil is, again, there's another lucky band. You have Neil, who is a world-class lyricist.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have Chris, who is a prodigy on the synthesizer piano.
Beat After Beats is image. Their image. Is
Their
really-
image is
yeah.
wonderful too. I mean,
Yeah.
just look at that.
Well, they can't see that. So.
They are their own image.
Tom Baker says Sparks Beat the Clock is hilarious. We were talking about Sparks.
I'm not 100% sure what that is. I'm not the
It says it's
biggest,
hilarious.
I'm not too familiar with Sparks. I saw their documentary because Nick Rhodes was in it.
Ooh.
So I went to the theater and watched it. And I was like, oh, this is, how come I never really paid attention to Sparks? There's some good stuff
I
there.
remember the ad when we saw Nick Rhodes.
Right.
And I didn't know you ever went and saw it.
I went to the theater and saw it, and then I have the Blu-ray over there.
Oh, look at you.
It's actually a
Big
pretty interesting story.
Sparks fan.
And I had never seen that. They went to the UK and went on TV, and the brother sort of dressed up like Hitler,
Oh, great.
but not, but sort of.
Mm-hmm.
And he just did this. When he was playing it, every time the camera went on, he went like this, and just stared, and then kept playing. And it was so, the image was like, it made you pay attention.
Yeah.
And I see that's pretty smart, pretty savvy.
You know the YouTube channel Larry Graves? He's the biggest Sparks fan alive.
There are a lot of Sparks fans. Adam Driver,
I like
Kylo
Adam
Ren,
Driver. I know
huge
who
Sparks
Adam
fan.
Driver is. Not
Well,
just
maybe-
Kylo Ren. He was in many things.
He's in a lot of good stuff.
Yeah.
His best movie is
Star Wars.
now that I say that, I can't remember the name of it.
Oh, good work.
It's the one where he's a bus driver.
I don't know if I finished that one.
Very good.
I think I started it, but it was too long, so I stopped watching it.
That's all. The whole movie is just he's just a regular bus driver.
Yeah, well,
Can't remember what it was. Did a great job on that one.
well.
If I could only remember the name.
Oh, poor guy.
I want to say it was Jersey or New Jersey, something like that.
Oh, well,
Can't
looks like we'll
remember.
never know.
We'll never know.
Never know.
Well, you had enough.
I think I've had enough. How about you?
Onward and upward. Don't forget, we will be talking about Big Thing next Saturday at 1 CST.
So, Miss Carpenter, Tom Baker, Beat After Beat. We want to say goodbye to you.
We want to say goodbye.
I'm going to call you guys all out by name since you guys are real ones.
We want to say God bless you
Mm-hmm.
and really hope that we see you next Saturday because Big Thing is a very important record for me.
Yep.
I have a lot to say about it.
Move it in, move it out, move up the line.
So that'll be good. And then I'm excited when we get to Liberty because remember we found somebody who that was their first experience with Duran Duran was Liberty. That's got to be a good story.
Yeah, well, hopefully that person shows up. Was
Because
it?
not their best foot forward for a record. So if he became a fan with Liberty, no,
It wasn't Tom?
somebody we didn't know.
Was it?
Was it? Tom, was that you?
Tom, was that you?
Who said your first album was Liberty?
I don't remember if that was Tom or... Because we only had two people. It was Ron and Tom.
But I thought there was a wild card guy in there.
Was there a wild card guy? Yes, it was him. See,
Oh,
I
wait,
knew
okay.
I remembered
Well,
something.
see,
We want to hear your story Saturday.
we still want to hear that story.
Yep.
Not Saturday, a week from Saturday. Saturday's Big Thing.
Oh, yeah.
His
That's
Liberty
true.
story is
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
All right. Everybody say goodbye. So,
Bye.
bye.
Thank you.